All right, I'm going to mute you all. And I always give, let me try this again, mute you all. And I always give up 4 to 5 minutes before I get started. So we get started at the 7:20 mark. I try to do 30, 35 minutes. I get cut off a lot, so be prepared. I'm just letting everybody in, and then we'll get started. And I'm just checking my phone to make sure everybody's getting in. Okay, 2 more minutes, and we're going to get started. I don't expect to have a lot of people from the current tribe session because this is back to basics for them, and for you guys, it's new information. I just got something in my mouth. So we're going back to basics for the old people, not the old people, but the people have been in the Shred Tribe. Don't laugh at me, then. I saw you. Okay, so we have another minute and a half, and then we'll get started. It's always good to have a refresher. I mean, every time I do a session, it's a refresher for me. So I love it. And I always give different information. So like, I don't have a set read verbatim something. So every new session, I always have new information. Plus things change. So if you don't come into the new, Macros 101, you might not hear the new stuff. So it's always good for everybody to join. All right, 1 more minute, and then we are getting started. But I do like to see a lot of the new people on here. And it makes me happy to see Charlene and Vince and Jen and Margarita on here. And Mary. Mary's like, what about me? Oh, and here's Bonnie coming on. So this is being recorded. I always like to say that. So remember, you guys don't really talk, so I don't have to say remember in case you have to say something. Remember, it's being recorded, but I'm usually the one that just talks. I don't take any questions on this Zoom, or pretty much any Zoom. Saturday will be the Q&A meeting. So if you have a question before Saturday, make sure you send it to me, and I will cover whatever you question. So welcome everyone to Macros 101 Shredded Summer 2023. Last night we had our welcome meeting. If you did not see that, then you don't know about me, you don't know my history, and you don't know how I run the program. But if you listen to it, then you know all that great stuff, and I don't repeat it again this meeting because it's not fair to those that were on it. It's recorded, it's on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure everybody watched it because I could see views, and it's up to like 15 views. So I have to assume that everybody's watched it. I checked before I came in. Okay, so first thing I always like to say when I start every new Shred Tribe session is you are here because what you're doing is not working. And that's why you came to me. Now, some of you have known me for a really long time. You're like, I know Shannon shit works. So I'm going to check her out. I've worked out with her before. I've seen her transformation. And some people don't know me at all, but this friend told them how amazing I am. Just kidding. How my program works, and they want to do it. And last night was so funny. I did the welcome meeting, and then I get like 3 messages from a friend, 3 friends of one person that's in the Shred Tribe. We want to get in on. Is it too late? I'm like, no, you're good to go. But it's always funny to me that it's always right like the very last minute. And they're in, which is great. So thank you to everybody for being on. Okay, so what you're doing right now is not working. We're going to try something different, right? We're going to make new lifestyle changes. We are creating new habits. We are not restricting ourselves. We are not on a diet. Diet is a 4-letter word. Keto is a 4-letter word. People are afraid that I'll jump through the computer if somebody mentions keto. If you are doing, before I even start, if you are doing a keto, if you are doing any kind of shots, semaglutide, Ozempic, any of that crap, Optavia, please let me know so I can refund you and you can leave my program. This program is to learn how to change your habits, to change your lifestyle, to learn how to eat properly and eat for your goals so that you lean out, you slim down, you lose weight the correct way. This is not a quick fix. If you want to lose 15 pounds in the next 8 weeks, you're in the wrong program. I calculate everyone to lose 1 pound a week. So in an 8-week session, you could lose anywhere between 8 to 10 pounds. You could lose 5 to 7. But the slower you lose it, the longer it'll stay off, and you're building new habits to keep it off. And if you speak to people and you hear from people that have been in the Shred Tribe, you will know that it works. Okay, so why is macros why does it work? So first thing is flexibility. It gives you food freedom. You're not going to go out with your family and they say, you say, I can't eat that. We can't go there. We need to pick a different restaurant, right? That's so stressful because your husband wants to go somewhere. Your kids want to go somewhere. Just go where they go. Make sure you have it in your budget, which we're about to talk about, and move on. You're not chained to a rigid meal plan. You make your own food choices, and that allows you to enjoy the foods you want. So you're never deprived. It's easy to adhere to it because if you're constantly restricting, you're going to go off of it. And that's a diet. And that's why this is not a diet. And it evolves with you. So as your goals change, I can always adjust your macros, recalculate, dial it in. I just literally dialed in my own macros because I have 6 weeks till I turn 50 and I want to look the best I've looked ever. So I dialed it in. So I tightened it a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. And I've bumped up my lifting. So we could always do that. Okay. So talking about tracking your food. When you are tracking food, you need to think about a budget. So everybody right now has their daily budget. I went through everybody's profiles. You all have your meal plan, your macros, your proteins, your carbs, your fats. If you look in your app under the knife and fork, under your dashboard, you will see a report. It's 17 pages. I did it for all of you. It's different for everyone. And it will give you meal ideas, how to hit your numbers, how to configure it. And if you don't want to use that, that's fine. But it's a great tool to use. So we're going to start with your budget. Let's say I give you a budget and absolutely no one has a budget of 1,200 calories. That's like starving. So let's say you have a budget of 1,200 calories. Let's say you have a home budget of $5,000. Let me see if I can turn that off. I guess there's no way, but okay. I'm sorry if it dings. I can't turn that off. I don't know how to anyway. If I could, I don't know how. If anybody knows how to turn those notifications off, message me so I can do it for the next meeting. But, so you have a $5,000 budget at your house. The first things that you have to pay for the month is your mortgage, your rent, your car, your insurance. Those are your important things. Those are the things that come out first. That is your monthly budget for your home. Relate that to the food. You have 1,200 calories. You have 3 main meals. Those are going to come out of that budget first. And whatever is left could be your snacks. So let's say you have 120 grams of protein that I gave you. You're going to divide that by, let's say, 3 or 4 meals, depending on what you usually eat. And that's how you're going to get in that amount of protein. It's the easiest way to do it. So I usually say take 120 and divide it by 3. So that'll give you 40 per main meal. Take 10 out each meal. So that'll give you enough to have a protein shake. And it'll give you 30 each meal plus your protein shake. Now, if you know you always eat a protein shake, a protein bar, then that would come out of that 120 also. But you have to plan in order for this to work. So what we do currently, a lot of us, is we wing it. I don't know what I'm going to eat for dinner. I don't know what I'm having for lunch. I'm just going to grab this from this fast food place, and that's going to be my breakfast. I'm going to grab this, and that's going to be my lunch. You can't do that. That's where the problem lies. That's where we have no idea what we're eating, how much we're eating, where it's coming from. Let me just try to mute everybody again. There we go. Where it's coming from, and how do you know? So people are like, oh, I eat 1,200 calories a day. I'm like, that's great. Yeah, and I'm not losing any weight. Well, what are you eating? Well, I know it's 1,200 calories because this says 300 and this says 400 and this says 200 and this adds up and it's 1,200. I'm like, but how much of that is protein? How much of that is carbs? How much of that is fats? And they have no idea. And that's why they're not losing weight or body fat, because they don't know what they're eating. And when you track macros, you know everything you're eating. I can open up my refrigerator and I don't even see food. I see numbers. I know I need 30 grams of protein. I'm going to grab this yogurt. I know that I need 10 grams of protein. I'm going to grab this cheese stick, whatever it is. And that's how you start to think. So the first thing you want to do is plan ahead. Think about the foods that you eat every day. We all have staples. And those are things that you would put in your log first thing in the morning, or if you're a night logger, at night. Some people log at night, some people log in the morning, some people log their entire day or their entire week at a time. I could never do that. I live day to day. Even though most of my food is staples, I'm just not that kind of planner. So like tonight, I'll put in all my food that I know I'm going to have tomorrow. And I log every single day. Every single day. I've been doing it for, I can't even tell you how many years. When I go off and I don't log, I don't feel in control. I like to know what I'm eating. I like to not feel stressed. I like to pack my bag in the beginning of the morning and eat everything in my bag throughout the entire day. And no, I don't have to think about it. And I do. I eat it all. By the time I get home, I know what I'm having for dinner because I've already logged it. I eat my dinner. I eat my Yasso bar before I go to bed, and I'm good to go. And I love that Nadia is drinking her water. That's awesome. Okay. Write it all down before you eat it. Put it in your app before you eat it, because you might not have that in your budget. So let's say you have 1,200 calories and you put in that you're having your egg whites, your oats, your blueberries for breakfast. And then you have your protein shake for lunch, for mid-morning, whatever, meal number 2. Your third meal is the big meal. So you're going to have 6 to 8 ounces of grilled chicken breast, which we're going to talk about. And you're going to have a sweet potato. And then in between that big meal and your last meal, you have a protein bar. So when you get down to dinner, you don't know what you're eating for dinner yet, but you know what numbers you have left. Plug in everything you think you're going to eat and look at what's left. Because you may think you can have a whole sweet potato for dinner, but you may only be able to have a half a sweet potato. Because you have to look at your budget and what's left for the day. You're not going to have a budget of $5,000 for your house and a wing and a prayer, buy a new washer and dryer, hoping by the end of the month, you have the money to cover it, right? So you should not do that with your food budget. Does that make sense? You're not going to budget for your home that you can get a haircut on Saturday. And all of a sudden you're like, you know what, screw it. Let's do full blonde. And then you get a bill that's hundreds of dollars. Hundreds of dollars. You didn't have it in your budget. You don't have it in your food. You can't do it. Now, if you were that person and you put in your budget ahead of time, you looked, you're like, oh no, I can't afford that. No, let's just do the haircut. Same thing. No, I'm just going to have the grilled mahi and maybe I'll have some broccoli because I already planned for so many other things that are in my day. I can't have that. I can't have as much as I want. Now, I always tell everybody, plan ahead, especially on the weekends, because we like to have our drinks. We like to go out, use it as a spacer. You might not know where you're going or what you're eating, but always go over the amount, right? When you're going to buy a washer and dryer, I don't know, I hear my dryer going, that's why I'm using it as an example. When you're going to buy a washer or dryer and you set a total amount for it, you're not going to go over the amount you set for it. So instead, set a higher budget. You could always have more money back, right? That's a bonus. Same thing, plan ahead, hire for your meal that you don't know what you're having yet. And if you have some left over, maybe you can have a cappuccino. Maybe you can have some dessert. Maybe when you get home, you can have a yasso bar. I do that every time I go out for dinner, by the way. I come home, I have my yasso bar. We'll talk about that too. Okay. Think about one thing that you love to eat every day. You're going to plug that in every day. So every day I put my yasso bar in. I'm going to have it every single night. If Mike eats my last one, I have a heart attack because there's not one in there for me. I'm like, what do I do now? It was in my app. I knew I was going to eat this. And then he's like, you want me to go get you some? I'll go run to the store. I feel so bad. I'm like, no, I'll freaking have a protein bar. Like it pisses me off because I'm ready for that. And I eat it every day and I put it in my app every day. Things change. I get it. Change it up. Change it in your app. Don't wing it and say, well, we were going to go to Moe's, but now we're going to KFC. So it's never going to work. I'm not going to even track it. You have to track it. You have to figure it out. And that's macros Tetris. Play with the numbers, figure it out, and it will work. I promise in the beginning, you're going to be like, this sucks. I don't know why I'm doing this. And after 2 to 3 weeks, you can be like, oh my God, this is so easy. Raise your hand. There's 3 people that I'm looking at right now that were already in the Shred Tribe. Raise your hand when you did this meeting with me, when you first started, and everybody started at different times, where you're like, why the hell am I in this program? I'm never going to be able to track and figure all this out. Margarita, are you raising your hand and I can't see it? Okay. And Bonnie, oh, see, Bonnie decided, yeah, me too. Okay, now raise your hand if you love playing macros Tetris, if it's so easy. So be reassured that yes, the first couple of weeks are going to be very overwhelming, but I'm going to help you with it. We are so programmed to eat, or we've been so programmed to eat this much protein. This is like 4 ounces, maybe 5 ounces of protein. We need to eat 6 to 8 ounces of protein pretty much every meal. That's like 1.5 chicken breasts. That's like when you go to the deli and you get your Publix boar's head turkey sliced, that's like 6 slices is 6 ounces. And you'll be added to a lot of groups. But one of the groups is sample meal plans. And I show you a picture of one of my sandwiches and it literally looks like this thick on one half because it has 8 pieces of boar's head chicken breast because I needed to get my 8 ounces in on my sandwich. And at first you're gonna be like, this is so much food. I don't know what I'm gonna do. How am I gonna eat all this? But you will do it. Get up and walk around, come back, eat your food. You'll be good to go. Okay. I'm all over the place. So I want to make sure I get everything in. Okay. So I want you to focus on protein first and foremost. Protein is for your energy. It helps fill you up. Your satiety. I'm not going to say it, but it helps you feel full. So when you are doing your protein, carbs, fats, I always say you got to be 10 over under for your carbs and 10 over under for your proteins and 4 for your fats. Ideally, that's what I want. But if you hit your proteins on the mark, everything else will fall into place. So I want you to practice hitting your proteins and then we'll work on everything else. You need everything else and you want to hit those numbers for everything else, but I don't want you to stress about it the first couple of weeks. If you've been in the Shred Tribe and you're having trouble still hitting your proteins, that's the one I want you to focus on. And everything else will fall into place. People ask me, what about like meal automation and delivery services? Those are all fine. That's food. That's not processed food. That's actually food people are cooking for you. So Hello Fresh, Ideal Nutrition, Flex Pro, T Factor, there's another one. I think it's just Factor. I don't know. Those are all great. I do Ideal Nutrition all the time, but you've got to stay away from the keto meals. There's like 50 grams of fat in one meal when you get that from Ideal. So you want to stay more to the paleo side when you go to Ideal, if you go there. When you're pre-logging, also, you won't realize how much things cost, per se, cost. When I say cost, think about your house budget, but like a banana could be like 40 grams of protein. You have no idea. And the first thing you're going to say to me is, oh my gosh, Coach Shannon, I had no idea of the food I was eating, what they actually cost me. Like I would never have had a full banana knowing that it used up half of my carbs. Now I only use a half a banana in my shake. Or I didn't realize that this kind of steak has so much more fat than this kind of steak. And it's such an eye opener. And if you get anything out of doing an 8-week Shred Tribe session, if you don't stay on, which most people do, if you don't stay on, is learning what things account for. Okay. Bulk up your meals. We talked about this, 6 to 8 ounces of protein at every meal. That's not 2 egg whites. That's like 4 to 6. Always have healthy food in your refrigerator and pantry. If you have crappy food, you're going to want to have it. If you're me, I have to have people hide stuff in my house. Like, don't let me see it, put it out of my sight. If I don't see it, I won't want it. And you'll hear so many stories if you're new to the Shred Tribe about, I mean, I've lost 100 pounds. It's not like I was born skinny and I have no problem eating whatever I want. I eat something that's crap and I gain weight if I don't account for it. So I have to, and I want to say I have willpower, but I don't. One of my members from Orange Theory made me mac and cheese because it's my favorite. And I said, he made it. He didn't make it for me. He made it. And I said, don't bring me any. I have 0 willpower. If you bring it to me, I'm going to eat it. And that was Monday. So Monday, he's like, I said, please don't bring it. And I kept saying, please don't bring it. He brought it. And he's almost like a sabotager. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll bring it home to Mike. So I brought it home. It's been sitting in the refrigerator. He texts me today when I get home and he's like, how was the mac and cheese? I'm like, I haven't had it. Not one spoonful have I tried. And he's like, you're kidding me. You couldn't even taste it. I'm like, no. I put the phone down and what did I do? Opened up the freaking container and tasted it. And I was so mad at myself because I had down 26 sweet potato fries for dinner tonight. And because I tasted his mac and cheese, because I don't know what, I was doing so good Monday and Tuesday. And the fact that he messaged me and he's like, did you try it? Almost like, screw you, I'm going to try it kind of thing. I had to give up 8 of my sweet potato fries for one freaking bite of like mac and cheese. So I'm just like you guys, I get it. So if there's something in your vision that you can't not look at, take it out. So I took the rest of the mac and cheese and I put it down in the garbage disposal. He doesn't know. Hopefully he doesn't watch my Zooms. He's one of my gay best friends too, but I swear he does it to sabotage me. Make sure you have grab and go options. There is a video I talked about in the welcome meeting yesterday, food in my fridge. If you have not watched that on YouTube, or if you have watched it, watch it again, because I give so many good tips, tricks, hacks, and things to buy. The other meetings you should be watching are share your favorites or share and tell. Because just like we're in a group right now, we go around and everybody talks and shares their favorite food, snack, treat, hack, Costco purchase, whatever it is, Amazon. And I mean, I've been doing macros for almost 17 years and I still hear new foods. Like, I'm like, I get stuck in a rut. I eat the same thing all the time. Then I'm like, oh my God, I never even heard of that. And then it becomes part of my routine. So you got to watch those videos. They're really good. Plan a day. And this is part of practice, which we are going to be doing. Plan a day that you think could be a really good day, that you think you would eat a lot of the same foods. And those days are the days or things you're going to copy and paste over and over again. But today's Wednesday. And so like tonight, I'm going to ask you guys to just start logging in your app And then Thursday, you're going to practice, and Friday, and every day is practice. Every day in the next 9-8 weeks is practice. But the next couple of days is just you learning how to put stuff in the app and see it in my app and make sure we're synced. Monday starts the 8-week actual session. And as we go forward, starting tomorrow at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll put out a shout out and say, who wants me to look at their food log as much as you have in there? And let's talk about what else you need or what we need to take out or make a change. Remember, I'm here for you and I'm going to help you log every step of the way. I will not say, Lindsay, you're going to eat a half a bowl of oatmeal, 2 egg whites, 3 strawberries for breakfast. And for lunch, you're going to have 2 pieces of grilled chicken breast, a half a sweet potato, and a piece of Ezekiel bread. And for dinner, you're going to have salmon with brown rice and Brussels sprouts. You know why? 2 things. It's a diet. I do not give out meal plans and tell you exactly what to eat. I will help you build your own meal plan of what you already eat, but I will not tell you what to eat. The other reason why I don't do that is because you'll do it for a week. Oh, Shannon told me I have to eat this. I'm going to eat this. I'm going to lose the weight. I'm going to do it. After a week, and I'm like, I am not eating another freaking Brussels sprout. I cannot eat another Ezekiel piece of bread. That thing is so dry, it's cutting the top of my mouth. I miss my foods. So when you message me, and I've gotten a bunch of messages, which I always do. Hey, when do we get our meal plan? When are you going to tell me what to eat? Never. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to teach you how to eat what you like to eat, what you normally eat, and then help you make the right changes and adjustments so that you do see your body change. And I promise you, I know what I'm doing, and it will work if you follow what I say. Keep in mind, fruit has a lot of carbs. So people will say, I don't know why I'm not losing weight. I eat so much fruit. Well, you're eating so much sugar. Those liquid IVs, does anybody use those electrolyte liquid IVs? Stop. Nadia's like, oh shit, let me stop the 11 grams of carbs, sugar, 11 in one tube. One of those powder things, 11. So it's okay if you want to budget for 11. But if you're like me, I use like 4 electrolytes a day easily. So there's sugar-free electrolytes out there. I'll put it in one of the groups. I have to figure out, I can't remember where I ordered it from, but I ordered like big bags of it. One of my good friends who is also in the Shred Tribe was very young, 34. She was recently diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. So she's sitting on the sidelines of the Shred Tribe because obviously she's going through chemo and everything. But I was sitting on a chair the other day and we were talking about how her doctor said she had to have electrolytes. And we were talking about liquid IV and all that. And there's one that is really clean. And that's the one I started drinking. It wasn't the other day, it was a couple of weeks ago. But so I will send you that link. But she's a badass. Okay. Start thinking about maybe meal prepping. If you're not a cook, like on Sundays, I do hard-boiled eggs. I baggy up my fruit so it's ready to go for the week. So I'm not waking up at 3:30 in the morning, which is when I wake up every day, and cutting and cleaning strawberries. On Sundays, I will count out my 20 Cheerios and put them in bags. Sometimes I hear myself and I think I sound like I'm obsessed. But then I'm like, it works. So then what's the big deal, right? So I'll count out my 8 almonds and I put them all in baggies and they're all ready to go. So every night I get my bag ready. I put all my non-perishables in my lunchbox. I stack out all my perishables in the refrigerator. So when I wake up in the morning, I get my Nespresso started and I start filling up my bag and it's ready to go. I've already logged it. And if I didn't, I'll scan some things real quick while I'm logging. Scan everything. That will make your life so much easier. If you have MyFitnessPal, it's going to ask you to upgrade. I already talked about it in the welcome meeting. Just say that you're from the UK and find a UK zip code, put it in there, and it will let you scan your food. Okay, I just want to make sure we don't run out of time. Avocado, salmon, and sea bass are all great antioxidant foods, but they're all high in fats. So one of my private clients who's not really in the Shred Tribe she had gained weight. And she's like, why am I gaining weight? And I was like, well, tell me what you're eating. She's like, well, I always eat a whole avocado for breakfast in the morning. And I eat salmon every night for dinner. And I was like, you just ate probably twice your fats in 2 meals in one day that you could have had for 2 days. And we don't realize that. There's another fish that's very high in fat that they serve whole. I can't think of it. Not sea bass. Arancini. I'm not sure. It's an Italian fish, but just be mindful of what you're eating. Yeah, you can have avocado. You can put a couple of slices on your toast in the morning. Don't eat a whole avocado. And if you're going to eat half an avocado, don't eat all whole eggs. What I do is I take my eggs and I'll take like 1 or 2 whole eggs, and then I'll take the yolk out of 3 eggs and just have 3 egg whites. So I eat 5 whole eggs, well, 5 egg whites and 2 with yolk. This way it's still yellow, it still comes together nicely, and it has a little bit of fats, because you have to have fats, right? And I like fats. And then I'll put a piece of cheese in there and scramble it all up. And I'll eat it on 2, and I hate to say this, 2 pieces of keto bread, but it's nature's honey bread, and it's so good. I'm going to bring that to one of our meetings this week. This session. So I will always give you guys tips and tricks and ideas of what to eat. There are a lot of groups that I'm going to add you to that you're not in yet, that you will see sample meal plans, my sample meal plans, other people's sample meal plans, recipes, amazing food finds. There's a protein group, there's a carb group, there's a cheat sheet group. The cheat sheet group will be your best friend. I always tell everybody, click on the picture and download every cheat sheet you see. So if you're somewhere and you're like, oh no, I need proteins and fats, what should I eat? There's a cheat sheet that shows you a circle with a circle, and it'll tell you what to eat that has proteins and fats in it. If you message me and say, hey, Shannon, I have carbs and proteins to eat, what should I eat? I'm going to look at a cheat sheet if I can't think of something. There's so many amazing ideas. There's a cheat sheet for lean protein, not so lean protein, fatty protein. You might have fats left and you have proteins left and you want to eat a ribeye. I don't know. I don't eat meat, but I know it has a lot of white. So I'm thinking that's very fatty. Cheat sheets are going to be your best friend. Thinking ahead is going to make you successful. Winging it and telling me after the fact that you ate it and then logged it is not going to help you be successful. But I will promise you, if you follow everything I tell you, you will be successful. We're going to have a meeting. One of our second meeting is going to be tips on how to get your protein in. So that will help you. But this whole week will be more like getting accustomed to it. Next week is getting everybody together. Focus on one thing, and that's your protein. Don't worry about your steps. Your water will come naturally for the first week or 2. Really focus on protein. Once you nail that, we'll work on everything else. Someone asked me if tofu is better than chicken or tuna. Protein is protein. If you like it, eat tofu. If you don't like tofu, don't eat tofu. I don't want you eating something you don't like. I don't want you gagging because Coach Shannon said it's really good for you. I love Brussels sprouts. If you don't like Brussels sprouts, don't eat them. Yogurt and cottage cheese are great sources of protein. There are 3 different yogurts to have in your house. One would be like, I love Nadia's like ready to write it down. There's a meeting or a group that I tell you all the different ones, but one has like 15 grams of protein, one has 20 grams of protein, and one has 25. I think the ratio is the 25. I can go in my refrigerator and look. And then each one has a different level of fat. Keep all 3 in your house if you eat Greek yogurt, because there may be a day where you need 15 grams of protein and you could just grab the yogurt, or you might need only 10, you can just grab the yogurt. You might need 25, you can grab the yogurt. I keep plain cottage cheese in the house. I keep flavored cottage cheese in the house. They're great sources of protein. If you don't like cottage cheese, don't do it. I always keep the tuna pouches, the flavored tuna pouches that you can buy. If I have my refrigerator right now, I probably have 30 protein pouches in there of tuna and chicken. They're so easy to grab and go. If I'm hungry and we didn't eat dinner yet, I will eat one of those as I'm like getting ready for dinner. So I don't pick on anything. It's clean protein. It's tuna. It can't hurt you. You could always go over in protein. Yes, you should have a scale just because it's going to train you and teach you good habits. So if you weigh something today and you weigh it for the next 5 days, by the second week, you'll know what that weight looks like, right? If you're constantly weighing something, you can eye it eventually. But if you never weigh it, how are you eyeing it? It's very hard to do that. The report I gave you does give you like your finger, your thumb, your this or that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I just believe in yes, have a scale. Now, that doesn't mean bring it with you to a restaurant. There's a stretch I remember that's lost like 60 pounds. She used to bring her scale with her to restaurants and vacations. It depends on what your commitment level is, I guess. I joke around when I was married, we would go to a restaurant in City Place and I would always bring my broccoli with me because the restaurant didn't have any. And it never had good vegetables. Like I couldn't eat anything besides my protein. So I used to bring in a container my broccoli. And my husband at the time was like, what the hell are you doing? You are not competing. Why are you bringing this with you? And I'm like, this is my commitment level. This is what I want to do. And people would look at me, and because the broccoli doesn't smell good when you take it out of a container and you're in a restaurant. So we used to have to sit outside. We used to always go to this restaurant because we would work out at LA Fitness and City Place and then go eat at this restaurant. It was Blue Martini at the time. I don't think anything's there right now, but anyway, they didn't have any vegetables. So it depends on your commitment level. I would never bring a scale with me, but it's totally up to you. Yes, you are logging vitamins only if they're gummy vitamins. Gummy vitamins have carbs. Take it from me, log them. I eat 35 carbs of gummy vitamins a night. I do my Hair Bear gummies. I do my collagen gummies. I do my sleep gummies. I have a immune gummy. It all adds up to 35 carbs. So I have to log those. Now, but regular vitamins, you don't have to log. There's nothing in those. Yes, salt is good for you. You can have salt. Salt your body needs. That's why we drink electrolytes. Unless your doctor says you're low sodium, you cannot have salt, put salt on whatever you want. I salt things before I even taste things. I know, it's so bad. Nadia, you own a restaurant, right? So you're probably like, this is terrible that she just said that. People, I'm sure chefs hate me because they bring the waiter will bring the food over and then I'm like, boom, boom, boom. They're like, you didn't even taste it yet. I promise you, this will get easy. You'll get really comfortable tracking your macros. Don't feel overwhelmed intentionally. Don't make yourself overwhelmed. Take it day by day. When we get off the phone today, or when we get off the Zoom today, I want you to just write down all your staple foods that you eat every day. And I want you to send it to me. And then I'll help you build your days if you need me to. All right, I'm gonna let you guys go. I thought I had long hair. Did you see that? I went to go pull my hair away. I'm gonna let you guys go because the Zoom is going to end. Remember, always be badass. We have another meeting on Saturday. I'll let you guys know the time and I'll answer questions and talk more about macros. Have a wonderful Wednesday night. Remember, always be badass, and I'll see you guys on the app. Bye, everyone.